Welcome back, everybody. We are now on to the section of this course where we're looking at launching your e-commerce store. So launching your dropship store. Now, every single day online, there are dozens of new stores opening, maybe even hundreds. Now, in fact, 90% of these stores, they're never going to go anywhere. They're never even going to get off the starting block, because the biggest mistake, and it seems to be a very common mistake, it's a very naive way of looking at things, but it's basically through a lack of awareness and a lack of knowing how things work online, and just lack of understanding of the whole scale of the online world and of e-commerce in general. So the mistake that most people seem to make is that they think that once their store has been opened, so once they've done everything necessary to get their store actually opened, so it's live online, they've done most of the work, and they can pretty much celebrate at that stage and congratulate themselves for having done all this work and got this online store live on the internet. Now, you can congratulate yourself at that stage because you have done a lot. If this is your first time doing this, you have achieved a lot by getting to this stage. But there is much more to do. And for those people who don't realize this, they're very soon going to become frustrated and disappointed when they realize they're not getting any sales. And they're going to be wondering why it is that these other stores are doing so well, and here they are, and nothing's happening at all. So that can obviously be very frustrating and disappointing. So before we go any further, I'd like to give you some motivation. I'd like you to pause this lecture now and go to this website here. Go and type this into your address bar, sugarandcotton.com. And then once you've spent just 2 or 3 minutes taking a look at that store, come back and unpause this lecture. All right, now that store that you just had a look at, it doesn't look anything really special, right? There's nothing about it that would say to you, this store is making an absolute fortune. In fact, that store gets over 1 million visits every month and is generating 6 figures, possibly even 7 figures in revenue every month. And they're doing it all drop shipping. Most of their drop shipping comes from China. So most of their orders are fulfilled in China. And they use suppliers in other Asian countries as well. But primarily it's China. And more than likely, primarily, it's from AliExpress. Now, you may be wondering why this store, it doesn't look anything special. This is a Shopify store. They are using a regular Shopify theme, so an off-the-shelf theme. There's nothing about this store that you could look at and say, I can see why this store is doing so well. They don't even have that many products. But what this store has done is they have built up a very, very big following. In fact, their Facebook fan page now has almost 1 million likes, almost 1 million followers. And they have also built up a very large email list from their store visitors and previous customers. So they've built this up over time. But it's not just that. You need to realize that behind every successful store, there is a story. And it's a story of trial and error, of frustration, of failures, of determination, of grit, and everything else that goes with success in business. And this doesn't just apply to running your own online store, it actually applies to any business. So any kind of big success like this store is experiencing, this doesn't come easy and it doesn't come overnight. It requires a particular mindset and a particular way of looking at things. And that way of looking at things is that when something goes wrong, you don't fall at the hurdle. You see every failure as an opportunity to take what went wrong and turn it around so that you can do it a different way the next time. So that is really the type of mindset it takes to create the kind of success that that store is experiencing. And it takes a lot of hard work. There's no question about that. Now, that particular store, there is now a whole team of people working on that store. So basically, there will be people who are over on AliExpress, and their specific task is to evaluate and research products on AliExpress to find products that may well be winners and hopefully will be winners or have good potential for being winners. There will be somebody dealing with the social media side of things. There will be somebody who deals with the email marketing side of things. So, there's a whole team of people working now on that business. Any one of you studying this course right now can get to that stage, can be at the stage and get to the stage where you are employing people. Even if it's virtual employees, that's fine. So you don't have to have employees in an office. It can be virtual employees, so outsourcing. Any one of you can get to that stage. Remember what we spoke about earlier on in the course. Your ideas, your niches, your products, your store, none of it is set in stone. You can change anything whenever you like. You can change complete direction if you want to. And almost certainly, I can say this with almost without a doubt, that is not the first store that the people behind it or the person behind it ever set up. All right, so please do take on board what I have said here in this lecture, and don't go and try and model your store on sugar and cotton. You won't have that success they are having just because you model your store on theirs. Their success now is down to the massive following that they have built over time. All right, let's move on and get started with launching the store, because this is the first step. Nothing happens until we take the first step. All right, now let's look at how to create a Facebook page for business. There's really not a lot to this, but let me just walk you through the steps. So first of all, if you go up to the menu and select Create Page, and then select a business or a brand. Now, Facebook keeps changing the layout here, but right now this is what it looks like. You have two options, and you're going to select a business or a brand. So click on Get Started, and then give your page a name. And it should, of course, be a name that is very related to your store, to the niche that you are in. And then choose a category. To do that, just start typing in the category box. Now, if you can't find anything that is close enough to your niche, just choose shopping and retail. You will then be asked to enter an address. Now, if you don't have an address that you want to use, you can go to a website called clevermail.com, and you can get an address there for, well, it's nothing for the first 6 months, completely free, and then for $1 a month thereafter. Now, you can actually hide your address anyway on your Facebook page, but if you still don't want to use your own address, go along to clevermail.com and get one from there. Once you've done that, click continue, and then just click skip, because these are the things that you're going to do later. Just skip the next steps until you get to your actual page. Okay, now the first thing that you should do is add a cover image and a profile pic. Now, the dimensions that you want to use for your cover image up here, 820 by 462. That's what I recommend to make sure that it displays properly on mobile devices as well as on desktop. And for your profile pic, a minimum of 200 by 200. So it could be bigger, but definitely not smaller. And it's a square picture for your profile pic. Now, it's quite a good idea to have a logo for your profile pic. But in the interim, before you get to one, if you don't have one yet, then you can use something else. Now, you could even use a product pictures from your store, if that's going to work out well. You could even use a product picture from your store as a cover image, but very often it won't be the right shape or size. So what I recommend you do is go over to Pixabay, pixabay.com. You're going to find thousands or tens of thousands of high resolution images here, all free for commercial use. Just do a search here in the search bar and then you can download any image that you want. You will probably need to crop the image using some kind of free simple image editing program. Now on Windows you have Microsoft Paint. You should have it installed by default. If you don't have it installed by default, just do a search for it online. Mac, something else very similar. Mac would definitely have image editing programs built in. So just use something very simple just to crop it down to get it to the right size. Now you can change these things later, folks. Don't worry about getting it perfect right at this stage in the game. You can also add a Shop Now button to the header of the page. Now by default you will have something that says message us or message, but if you click on it and then click on edit button, look for the shop with you or make a donation, click on it, click on either shop now or see offers. I would imagine that you would want shop now and then just click next to save that. Click on settings. Now here you can put your page unpublished if you wish to for now, but if you do that, don't forget to go back and publish it again. For visitor posts, anyone can publish to the page and anyone could add photos or videos. That's up to you, but I tend to leave that as it is. Audience optimization, the ability to select newsfeed targeting and restrict the audience for your posts. Now this is by default turned off. I leave it off and I recommend that you do the same. People can message my page privately. You should leave that on. Tagging ability, I recommend leave as is. Others tagging, leave as is. Page location for frames, leave as is. Country restrictions. Now here, if you want your page to be only visible from a specific country. So if you're dropshipping in the United States and you are not dropshipping anywhere else, you're not dropshipping worldwide, just the US, you really only want US people, US users on Facebook coming to your page. So here's what you can do. Only show this page to viewers in these countries. Type the country in here that you want the page to be visible to. So let's say United States. Only show this page to viewers in these countries, save changes. It's as simple as that. Now age restrictions, most of you, I assume your page would be suitable for everyone, but if it's not, you need to edit that. Page moderation, this is where you can block certain words from your page. It can be useful. If you want to do that, just click edit here and add the words. Now profanity filter, I never have this turned on because what happens is there are certain words that are used in certain contexts that are not profanity. In other contexts used, they may be profanity, but the problem is that Facebook doesn't know the difference. So I tend to leave that off. Similar page suggestions, choose whether your page is recommended to others. Yes, definitely leave that. Page updates, leave that as is. That's what I recommend. Post in multiple languages. I have this turned off normally. The ability to write posts in multiple languages is turned off and it will be off by default. It's up to you, but I personally don't want posts, so users posting on my page in a language that I don't understand, so I don't know what's actually been written. Translate automatically. If this is switched off, then this doesn't really make any difference whether it's on or not. Comment ranking, most recent comments are shown by default. That should definitely be like that. And content distribution, I normally leave that as allowed. Now the rest of these are for your own use if you want to download the page, merge another page with this page, or remove the page. Okay, so now we have the basic framework of the page, and let's move on to the next lesson. Okay, now we're going to finish setting up the Facebook page. So right here, add a short description. type something in here. Now this is just 1 or 2 sentences about your store and about your products. Once you've done that, go over to About in the navigation menu, and here you can enter some other information. So right here, enter email. Now I recommend you enter the email you set up earlier on. So when we were setting up a professional email for your store, enter that here. Enter your website URL here. So put that in here, your https mystore.com. And company overview, if you want to put something in there about your store and your niche, you can enter the start date here if you want to, you don't need to. And here, edit products, enter your main products here. Now once you've done all that, go back to home and first of all tidy up your feed a little bit, because you don't want all these images that you just uploaded, you don't want these to be in your actual feed. So right here where it says demo niche page uploaded their cover photo, click here and we can say hide from timeline. And right here as well, this was my original cover photo, hide from timeline. And right here, demo niche page added a shop now button to their page. We don't need that on the timeline, so we can hide that as well. Okay, so that's tidier, but we can't have a completely blank page. We need to put something on the page. We need some posts on the page. So the best thing to do here is to share some of the products. So post some of the products from your store across onto your Facebook page. Now we can do that directly from our Shopify store, but we need to use a Facebook share button. So we need some kind of social sharing app installed on our Shopify store. So for that, go back over to the App Store, type in social sharing buttons up here in the search bar, and you'll come up with this app here. Now just click on Get and install the app. And here's where you can choose which buttons to display. So you can just go with Facebook for now if you want to, like that, just leave it at that and click Save. And down here you can choose follow or share. So we want share. Refresh the page. So if I want to share one of these products, I'll click the button. Now here's the share box opening up. I don't want to share on my timeline. I want to share on a page I manage, and that's the page I want, demo niche page. Post to Facebook. Now let's refresh this Facebook page. And there we go. Now if I click on this, it's going to take me back to the website. There we go, back to that page. Now this is not the way the page looks for visitors. This is me in the page as an admin. If I want to see what the page looks like to visitors, I'm going to view page as a page visitor. Now of course, I set the audience to be United States only, and because I'm not in the United States, Facebook is not letting me view my page. So that means I need to go back. I need to change the page settings, and this is what you'll need to do. If you have your page set so that the audience is specifically in a country that you are not in, you will not be able to view it as a visitor. So in order to view it, you'll need to go and remove the country restrictions, and then you can put it back later. Fine, now go back to the page and now view as page visitor. And there we go. This is what your page looks like to a visitor. So as you can see, the visitor doesn't see all that stuff at the top that you see when you are in your page as an admin. So you can go back to your store and you can do the same with several products. I'm going to go ahead and share this one. Share on a page I manage, demo niche page. And additionally, rather than just share it, I could type something such as and refresh the page again. And there we are. Only 5 left in stock, hurry. And if I click here, it's going to take me to the website and to this exact page with this toy on it. So do that for around 7 to 10 products anyway. You can do more if you like, but do enough to make your page look as if it's got some content on it. You don't want it to look completely bare. If you want to invite your Facebook friends to like your page, then do so. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine. You can do this without having likes on your page. Having likes definitely helps, but it's not something you absolutely need to have before you get started. All right, so that's it. It's very quick and simple to create a Facebook page. Let's move on to the next step. Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm going to show you how to set up a very simple contest. Now, step 1 is to choose a product from your store. Now, you're going to give this away as a prize. So choose something with a relatively high perceived value. Now, for this lecture, I'm going to use the example of an outdoor pool game. So for this example, my store would be maybe selling outdoor games, backyard games, or it may be selling everything to do with swimming and swimming pools and that kind of thing. So once you've chosen a product from your store, create a new page on your store. So go into your admin area, click on Pages and click on Add New to create a new page. Name it Win and whatever it is that you're giving away. So in this case, it's Win an Outdoor Pool Game. Then go ahead and save your page, and this is going to give you a URL for the page, yourstore.com, and then whatever your title of the page was. The next step is to go and log into your autoresponder account. So if that's MailChimp, log into MailChimp, or if you have a different one, log in there and create a new campaign or list. Sometimes they're called campaigns, sometimes they're called lists. Like for example, I use Aweber. That is my autoresponder service that I use. They're called lists in Aweber, but some autoresponders call them campaigns. All right, so just go and set one up and just call it launch contest or something along those lines, because the name of it is for your reference only. Now, inside your autoresponder, create an opt-in form, a sign-up form with 3 fields: first name, email address, and then a multiple choice. So a multiple choice field, this is usually drop down, check boxes, answer A, B or C. Now folks, if this is all new to you, if setting up lists and campaigns and creating forms in your autoresponder is new to you, all autoresponders, MailChimp included, have excellent tutorials. Everything that you need to do, you will find in the tutorials, and if not, reach out to their support. Now, step 4 is to create an email message in your new campaign with the subject line, you have been entered to win XXX. So whatever it is, in this case is you have been entered to win an awesome pool game. In the body of the email message, just put a short blurb about what they've been entered to win. Perhaps you can put a link back to the page on your site where you have that product, so where that product is actually listed on your site, so they can go and check it out again if they wish to do so. Basically, you're just confirming that they have been entered into this contest. Now, step 5 is to go to the new page that you just created on your store, click on Edit, go into the page and enter a heading. So you have your title here, and now you want to enter some more information, such as enter below for your chance to win an awesome and fun swimming pool game. And below that, you need to create a question. So a question that is relevant, related to the product in the contest. In this case, I've created a question, what percentage of households in Florida have their own private swimming pool? Select your answer below, A, B or C. Now next, below the question, you need to add the form that you've just created. So the form that you created in your autoresponder. And to do that, usually you need to go into the HTML of the page. So you can click the icon here to open up the code of the page, and then you would paste the form code. So you would copy the form code from your autoresponder and you would paste it here on your Shopify page, and you would make sure it's being pasted below the question. And it would also be a good idea to add an image here as well of the product that you are giving away in the contest. Now, once you've done all that, the next step is to go over to your new Facebook page and create a post. Now, in a moment, we're going to go over to my Demo Niche Facebook page and we're actually going to do this. But here's an example of how it could look. So you would want a nice image in your post, and this would really be much better being an image of the actual product itself. Now, at the top, just a sentence here or a couple of sentences, and then the question, and then enter here because you want them to go to your website. You want them to enter the contest on your website. That's where you have the page with the form on it. All right, let's go and do this on the Demo Niche page. Hey, and welcome back. Now here we are on the Demo Niche page, and I'm going to add a post to promote this competition. So here I've created the post. Now I'm going to add the image before I add the link. Now, when you add the link, you can sometimes pull the correct image, or Facebook can pull the correct image from the page to display on your post, but it doesn't always work. You don't always get the image you want. So I'm going to do it this way around. You can try it. You can try adding the link first if you want and see if Facebook pulls up the correct image for you. If not, you can delete it again. But I'm going to do it this way around because from my experience, I know that this to be the quickest. So I'm going to add a photo here, so add an image. And then up here, I'm going to enter the link. And the reason I didn't do it the other way around is because if I enter the link first, the option to enter an image actually disappears. So now I'm going to put the link in here. And now Facebook can be a little bit temperamental. So when you enter a link, very often it will Facebook will pull all the information from that page and display it below the link. And you can click hide. If all the information from your page, like the form and everything, displays below your link, you can actually click hide. There's a word hide, a little link says hide beside it, and you can click hide. Now in this case, it hasn't pulled the information, and maybe because I added this image, I'm not too sure. Let's just delete the space here if we can. No, we can't. So that's it. I'm going to go ahead and click publish for this post. We'll see how it looks. If it doesn't look good, we can always delete it. Now let's go and check that out. I can't actually see it here. Let's see view page as a visitor. And there we go. Win Herman, the cute and cuddly rainforest sloth. What do sloths eat? Answer A, B or C. Click the link below to enter free. So that was very simple. And now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to boost this post to get some people seeing it. So we're going to boost this post to our target audience. We know who our target audience is. This is something we did way back at the beginning of the course, near the beginning of the course. So let's move on to the next lecture and boost this post to get some visibility. Okay, now we're going to do a tiny bit of paid promotion. And we're going to boost this post, so we're going to boost the contest. Before you do that though, you want to add a billing method to your ad account. So go up to the blue bar again and click on Create Ads. Go up to the flag and select the page. And then up in the menu here, choose Billing and Payment Methods. Add a payment method and you will automatically see the available options for your country. Now for me here in Ireland, I can use a credit or debit card, or I can use PayPal, or I could use online banking. Now Facebook ad coupon, these are very, very hard to come by nowadays. It used to be that you could get a $50 Facebook ad coupon for a new, to use on a brand new ad account with Facebook by, for example, purchasing a $4.99 product from GoDaddy. So you could spend $5 or $10 on something and get a $50 or even $75 Facebook ad credit for using on brand new accounts. But that's all stopped. Occasionally, Facebook will randomly send coupons to new users. Now, if that happens to you, it could be like a $30 coupon. If that happens to you, you're lucky, but you can't really rely on it. So let's assume that you don't have a coupon. You're just going to enter a billing method here. Now, for many countries, it's post-payment. So what that means is they will charge your card. They will take the payment when you get to a certain level. So that could be $20 in spending, it could be 30, it could be 50. They tend to decide what it's going to be. Now, if you ever start using paid ads on a regular basis with Facebook, the payment threshold goes up and up and up. So it'll go up from maybe $20 to $50 to $100 to $200 to $500 to $1,000. So that you can spend more and more before you reach that threshold and the payment is taken from your payment method. There are some places that you actually have to prepay. So you, in fact, the funds have to go from your card. You have to put a certain amount in before you are allowed to start advertising. So you could put $10 in or $20 in, and then that's the amount you're allowed to spend until you put some more in. That's prepay. But for a lot of countries, post-pay is available. Now, I've never used prepay, so I've always used post-pay, so paying after I've actually accrued the bill. Anyhow, you add your payment method here, and then we'll go back to the page, find your contest post, and click on the blue button, Boost Post. Now here, we're going to choose our audience. So first of all, we're going to choose the demographics and the location, and the age group and gender. This is based on the earlier research we did in Facebook Audience Insights. You certainly don't want to leave it at the default targeting, so click here, edit. And let's say I'm going to target women between the ages of, let's say, 28 right up to 40. This is just an example, by the way. And for my location, I want to have United States. Now that's just the main demographics. Now you want to start targeting by interest. So how do we do this? We do this by going back to Audience Insights if you need to do so, and looking at the pages that your audience likes. So the pages that have the most affinity to your audience, these will be the pages that are the most relevant to your audience based on what you can see in Audience Insights. So I'm going to just choose parenting or something along those lines here, but you will be being a lot more specific. You will be targeting actual pages that this demo audience, your demo audience, likes. I'm going to go for this parenting magazine. Now that's a couple of million people. To narrow the audience, I could say, and must also include one of the following. So I could make this even more targeted by choosing another interest. So in other words, my target here must like parenting magazine and also something else. Let's see, preschool, is there anything to do with that? No, I don't think so. Walt Disney World. Yeah, let's have that, and parenting magazine. My audience, my potential reach is now 500,000. Still fairly broad. I could narrow it down even further, but you don't want to make your audience size too small. So I would recommend that you don't go below 200,000 if possible. So it's going to depend on the country you're targeting. You may have to go smaller than that. But I could actually now narrow it down further and add another interest if I wanted to. And this is targeting it, it's getting it more and more laser targeted. So I'm just going to save that there for the audience. Now for the total budget, this is really down to you, but you want to be reaching enough people. So the total budget here is defaulted at 3. I can pick one of these here, or I can, just choose my own. So I'm going to say 20 for my total budget. And that's going to reach at least about 3,000 people. And for the duration, I recommend you do 7 days. And what this does is spaces your budget out over 7 days. Now, I don't recommend you do 14 days with a low budget like €20 or $20 or whatever, because there's not really enough being spent per day. And I don't recommend you really spend any more than that. If it works really well and you get a lot of people entering the contest, then you can always come back at the end of the 7 days and you can rerun it. You can run it again and just set another budget. You could maybe even choose a different targeting if you want to, so slightly different targeting. You've got the same demographics, but under the interest, you could look for some different target interests and run the very same ad to those people. All right, so when you've filled in your budget and chosen 7 days, then just click on Boost. And then what happens is your ad is in review. So Facebook will take a look at your ad to make sure it complies with the terms and conditions. Now, it's probably a good idea to read these terms and conditions down here. Click here and read them, because you do not want to be trying to run any kind of advertising on Facebook that is non-compliant, so that Facebook doesn't allow. There are things Facebook doesn't allow, and that would be things like, there are certain supplements, anything they consider to be dubious, so anything that's got anything to do with weight loss or any kind of magical results, they don't allow those kinds of things to run. So, and there are other things as well, but some of those would be very obvious. So it's probably a good idea to review those terms and conditions at this stage, and then go ahead and hit Boost. Wait till your ad has been approved. It can be very fast. It can be as fast as 5 minutes. It can take as long as an hour or 2. All right, so it just depends on how busy they are, really. Once your ad has been approved, you will get a notification up in your bar here, up in the blue bar, that will tell you your ad has been approved and it's running. Okay, so now you have set up a contest, you have created a post on your Facebook page, and you've boosted that post to a specific target audience. Now in the next lecture, I'm going to talk about an alternative way to do this. So if you don't want to spend even as little as $10 or $20, then I'm going to talk about an alternative way, and we're also going to tidy up a bit and clarify a few things about the contest, just to tie up a few loose ends. So I'll see you in a minute. Hi everybody, let's take a look at the final few things you need to do to make sure you get the most from your contest. And let's also look in this lecture at an alternative way to do this, alternative or additional way to do it. So first of all, you should add your contest page to the main navigation menu of your store. So just log in to your store admin, click on navigation, select your main menu and add your page here, add a menu item, give it a title, give it a name that you want to show up in the menu, and then select the page and click Save Menu. That's because when people click through to your website from your Facebook post, for your contest post, if they start clicking around your website before they've entered the contest, they won't be able to find it again unless it's in the navigation menu. And secondly, because you have now set up a page on Facebook, you may start to get a few random visits to your website. So it's a good idea to have this in the navigation menu for the duration of the contest. And the second thing you should do is go into your Facebook page and pin the contest post to the top of the page. So if you add anything else to this page, which you should do by the way, you should be adding, at least every couple of days, you should be adding something new to your page. And you want the post for the contest to stay at the top while the contest is running. So you do that just by hovering your mouse over the drop down arrow on the post and selecting pin to top of page. And when you want to unpin it, you do the same. You just go to the drop down arrow again, and this time you'll have an option to unpin from top of page. Now, in case anybody is not clear about this, what's the exact purpose of the competition? It's to get visitors to your store. It's to start building a list of potential customers you can market to, because everybody that enters the competition, they are now subscribed to your email list. Get likes and engagement on your Facebook page, and even to start getting some sales. Now, something about competitions and contests on Facebook, they often get shared a lot, so they can go viral, and that's because they're kind of fun and entertaining. And when people are on Facebook, it's kind of downtime, so they like to be entertained. So competitions and contests, they do go down very well on Facebook, which means that even when you pay for a boosted ad, so let's say you've decided on a $20 budget, your posts may get seen a lot more than just what you pay for, because you could get a lot of people sharing it or tagging others in the post. So you can get a lot more views on that post than you actually pay for, and therefore a lot more people to your website and a lot more entrants to the competition. Now, for the duration, I recommend about 21 days. That's a good time. You don't want it too long and you don't want it too short. You want to give it enough time. Even if you're only boosting for 7 days, give it another 14 days, because it could be circulating. So people could be sharing it. So it could be circulating. Give it enough time, but you don't want it too long. People don't like to wait too long for the results. Now, to pick a winner, you should go into your autoresponder and download the email addresses of the entrants. So everybody that's actually on that list is an entrant to the competition. And then you can paste them into a free online random picker. Now let's look at an alternative or an additional way to promote your contest on Facebook. So this would be if you don't want to spend any money on boosting a post, or you may want to do this as well to get additional activity. Identify the pages that your audience has the most affinity with. You do that in Audience Insights. So we did this, remember, earlier on in the course. You can go back to Audience Insight now if you need to do so, and identify those pages that are the most popular among your target demographic audience, and then interact with those pages. Now you want to do everything as your page, not as you, because by default, you like pages and comment on pages as you. And you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you're doing everything as your page. So when you click through to a page that you want to like, make sure it's a popular page. Like this one is here. This one has 1.5 million almost people who like this. So this would be a good page to interact with if this was a page that your target audience is actually on. So this is a page that your target audience is interested in. So instead of clicking like, because if you do that, you're liking as yourself, click the ... The menu opens up and select like as your page. And that will now like it, like this particular page you're on, as your page, not as you. Similarly, when you are commenting on posts on these pages or liking these posts, even sharing them, some of these posts on these pages would be appropriate to share on your own Facebook page. You need to do the same, otherwise you end up liking posts and commenting on them, etc. as you instead of as your page. So instead of clicking like or just typing a comment in or clicking share, go to this little drop down arrow here. When you hover your cursor over there, you're going to get a message liking and commenting as you. So click on it, and then you're going to get the menu drop down, select your page, and you are now liking and commenting and sharing as your page, not you. Make sure you do this. Get into the habit of doing this every time. And that is because it's completely pointless doing this as you. If you're doing it as your page, then everybody who sees your comments will also see your page and be able to click through to your page. Now you do need to be quite active in doing this and provide value in your comments. You can create your own posts on these pages as well, but the idea is not to promote. The idea is to provide value. Once people start to see your page name once or twice, they're going to start clicking through to your page, and you will get likes and you will get people entering the contest, because remember, it's pinned to the top of your page, so it's the first thing they're going to see when they land on your page. So do this with all of the most popular pages in your target audience. Now this is a slower way to do things. You may want to extend your competition, so instead of 21 days you might want to do 28 days. Now of course you are giving away a product every time you do this, so if that's going to cost you say $20 and you're doing this, even let's say you run a competition once a month, $20 a month for a competition, you're running this completely for free, because it's not costing you anything to run this competition except for the cost of the boosted post. You're not paying for any software to run a competition, because the way we've done this, we've done it without using any kind of software, any kind of paid apps or anything like that. So your only cost is the cost to boost the post if you're paying for it. If you're going to do it this way, this method instead, exclusively this method, you don't even have that. And then the cost of one product a month if you decide to do this once a month. And so really it's a small price to pay for getting visitors and activity to your site and starting to build up those sales and build up your list. Remember the store we looked at earlier, Sugar and Cotton? They've built up an enormous, huge list of email subscribers. So every time they add a new product or they want to promote a new product that they've just added to their store, they can just send out an email to that list and make thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars in sales with one email. All right, folks, now in the next lecture, I'm going to introduce you to some other methods of promoting your store. Hey, everybody. All right, let's look at a couple of other ways that you can promote the products on your store. So a couple of quick and easy ways to do this. So first of all, go into your store and to your apps. So go to your social sharing buttons app, click the link here and enable Pinterest. And that will now place the Pinterest sharing button on your store. Click save. And the next thing to do is to go to pinterest.com and sign up for an account. Now you want to give an account a name that is related to your niche. And like everything else, Pinterest accounts are disposable. So if you decide to change direction, which you may do, who knows, then you can just delete the account and create a new one. Actually, I have multiple Pinterest accounts and I've never had a problem with that, with logging into all of them from the same IP. All right, now this is a demo Pinterest account that I set up for another course, and I want to give you a few tips. So you should set up several boards. Now I have 3 here, but it's a good idea to set up 5 to 7, between 5 and 7 different boards. And once you have the board set up, you can then add pins to those boards. So you can share images from around the internet and of course from your own website as well. And to give your board some content to start off with, I recommend that you just use the search bar up here and you search for other pins on Pinterest that are related to your niche, and then you can fill your boards up a bit with some of those pins, such as if I'm searching for wine, and if I click the red button, choose a board, I can now choose one of my boards to add this pin to. So let's see, I'm going to create a new board because this doesn't really fit with any of the boards I've created. And now you can see, oh, it's disappeared. There was a little notice here that says that I have added this pin to my board. And then you can keep doing that. So you can find pins that would be suitable for different boards that you have created. Now, when you're naming your boards, try and be a little bit creative. So this particular board here is wine accessories, but instead of just calling it wine accessories, I've called it wine accessories for all occasions. So try and be a little bit creative when you are naming your boards. Now, to share your own product pages on Pinterest, so to share the images which will then link back to your website, you click the Pinterest pin, but normally what you would do is you would be sharing one specific product. So let's take a look at this one here. And if I want to share this, click the Pinterest pin, choose this here, pin it, and now I just choose a board. I simply choose a board to pin it onto. Now, I'm not going to pin this because this obviously is a cuddly toy and these boards are about wine. But that is how you do that. It's as simple as that. And if you want to add a caption, click edit here, and right here you can remove anything you want and you can add text to it. So for example, if you've got something on sale, if you want to promote something, you could add something like 30% off while stocks last, something like that. So that's how simple it is to share your products on Pinterest. Now, as I mentioned already, that would automatically, you don't need to add any links, because automatically sharing it from your website, automatically those images, those pins on Pinterest are going to link back to the particular page that you pinned from. Now, Pinterest can be very, very good for e-commerce, and that's because people, so visitors coming from Pinterest, clicking on pins and coming to your website, the buyer intent is very high. And in fact, it's a lot higher than it is when you get visitors coming from Facebook. That doesn't actually mean that Pinterest is a better place than Facebook, but nevertheless, it's still a good place to be posting your product pages. And because it only takes a minute, you can literally set up your Pinterest account and create your boards in a matter of 15 minutes. So definitely use Pinterest as well. Any traffic you can get coming to your store from these kind of places, it's because it's completely free. Any traffic coming to your store, this is a bonus. Now, the second thing you can do is sign up for an Instagram account. I recommend that you log in with Facebook. So I recommend that you just use your Facebook account. And the reason for that is because if you in the future decide to do any paid advertising on Facebook, you can have the whole thing linked together because Facebook owns Instagram. Now, here's the thing about Instagram. I expect that the majority of you watching this already know exactly what Instagram is, but in case you don't, Instagram is all about images and videos, whereas Facebook, you get posts and all kinds of things. Instagram is an image and video sharing website. It is also set up for mobile devices. It's not set up for sharing from your desktop or a laptop. It's for mobile devices. Now, it is possible to share and post from your PC or your Mac, whatever, but it's not particularly simple. It really is designed for sharing and posting things from your smartphone or from your tablet, so from your mobile device. So before you can really do anything, you need to go to the Play Store or to iTunes and download the Instagram app. There are actually dozens and dozens and dozens of Instagram apps, but the one you want is just the main one. Now, instead of me going through step by step how you share images from your mobile device to Instagram, there's a very good tutorial here on Wikipedia. Actually, it's WikiHow. For anyone who doesn't know how to do this, so if you've not done this before, you can go along to wikihow.com, post on Instagram. And this assumes you've already downloaded the Instagram app to your mobile device. Okay, so step by step there how to do it. Now, you probably won't have your product images on your mobile device. So you would need to download any product images that you want to share on Instagram. You would need to download those from your desktop or your laptop to your mobile device before you can go ahead and post them on Instagram. Now, I just want to say something here. Instagram for business is an enormous topic. It's way beyond the scope of this course. It would take an entire course to teach you this. But if you just get the basics down, so creating an Instagram account and sharing images to Instagram, adding captions to the images and that kind of thing, if you just get the basics down, and you need to start to build an Instagram following as well. If you're going to use Instagram, you're going to need to build a following. Now, sometimes you will get images that get shared and go viral, especially if you've created some kind of urgency, like a sale, and you've got a really good image. Instagram images, they do need to be good. They can't be poor quality images, but then you wouldn't have poor quality images on your website, on your product pages anyway. So you need to have good quality images, and if an image gets shared a lot, then you can start to get quite a lot of Instagram followers and people coming to your website and quite a lot of sales that way. But you also need to build your own following, and that's something that does take some time to actually do. But anyhow, I recommend you do this because it is, again, it's a quick and simple way to get some more exposure, and it's not costing you anything. Now later, when you are ready, there are so many things you can do here with Instagram, and there are paid tools out there on the internet that you can get to help you automate things. And there are also Instagram apps on the Shopify store that will allow you to actually sell directly from Instagram. So there's a lot you can do, but you need to walk before you can run, if that makes sense. Now, you can't add a sharing button for Instagram on a website because it doesn't work like that. You can only add an Instagram button to get followers on Instagram. And there is an app on Shopify that can do that for you, but it's not free. It's $8 a month. So I will leave you to check that out and decide for yourself. It may be something that you want to do later as opposed to right away. All right, so that's Pinterest and Instagram to get some additional exposure for your store.